Hey, Kipster. So today we're going to learn two different ways that we can turn a decimal into a fraction. The first way is going to be using the decimal itself, and the second way will be using our place value chart. So in order to turn this into a fraction, we need to understand that there is a way we can do that. Now, for this decimal here, for me to turn it into a fraction, I'm going to go ahead and put our fraction line. And right underneath our decimal point, I'm going to put a 1. Okay, notice how it goes right underneath my decimal point. Then I'm going to put a 0 underneath my two numbers to the right of my decimal, So underneath the 2, I'm going to put a 0. Underneath the 6, I'm going to put a 0. Anything to the left of my decimal, so to the left, this 1, is going to become my whole number. So for me to turn this into a fraction, that 1 is going to be my whole number. And then here, as you can see, I already have my fraction laid out. I have 1 and 26 over 100. We can look at how to use a place value chart so that you understand how this relates to what we do in math. All right, Kipster. So now we talked about how to use the actual decimal to create a decimal into a fraction. Now we're going to be using the actual model here in the place value chart that we have given you in order to create our decimal and turn it into a fraction. So I have here convert the following decimal to fractions. Use the tool above, this should be above, my mistake, to help you. So in order to do this, what you're going to need to do is you're going to take your decimal, like for example, 0.45. You're going to write it in as it should be in our actual model here. So here's my decimal place. So I need to make sure that my decimal goes where it belongs. That means a 4 goes to the right of it. So I'm going to put a 4 here, a 5 here, and then there's a 0 right there. So one thing that we notice is that our decimal point ends on the hundreds. And there's a reason why it's called hundreds, because that's going to tell you what's going to go underneath our fraction as our denominator. So I don't have any wholes or any numbers that need to go in front for my mixed number. So that's going to be 0. So I'm only going to be working with this 45 hundredths, and I'm going to write it out exactly as I hear it. So for example, let me make this a little bit bigger so that we all can see it. For example, I'm going to take this 45. That's going to go as my numerator, and my denominator is going to be where my last number landed. Now in the hundredths, so that means that my denominator should be the 100. So there we go. There's taking that 45 hundredths, turning into a fraction, 45 over 100. I can do the same thing here. So I have 0.124. Gotta change this. So this is 0.124. Okay, I end on the thousands place. That means that 1,000 is going to be my denominator, and the 124 is going to be my numerator. So 124, or everything that's on the right side of my decimal, to the right this way. And then the denominator is always going to be whatever the last number lands on. My last number lands on the 1,000, so that means my denominator at the bottom is going to be 1,000. 124 over 1,000 is the correct fraction. We're going to do the same thing for this last one, which is 1.24. So we have 1 to the left of the decimal. Then I have a 2 and a 4. I don't have anything in the thousands place, so I can leave that blank. So I have 1.24. I have one whole number. So that's going to be the number that's going to be in the front of my fraction because it's a whole number. So I have one whole. And then I have 24. So I know 24 is going to be my numerator. Now I need to figure out what my denominator is. Well, I just go look at my last number. My 4 is the last number. It ends in the hundredths. That means that my denominator should be the hundredths. So my answer should be 1 and 24 hundredths. You're going to have access to this place value chart so you can do your work. This could be a great way for you to continue to turn decimals into fractions.